There's something sinister about Kemi Badenoch. There's another political channel called A Different Bias, and Phil, he coined a phrase over there. I think it was Phil. I'm going to give him the credit anyway. But it was the phrase stupid evil. And he doesn't want to be ruled by stupid evil. It's used to refer to people like Dominic Raab or Liz Truss, who think they're more intelligent than they really are, but are quite happy to throw anyone and everybody or even a country under a bus if it means enriching their personal gain or their political careers. But Badenoch is different, and you can tell that from the way that she speaks to people. There's a sense of superiority about her, and I'm about to show you a clip when this happened a few weeks ago, but it needs to be spoke about. And she's sitting on the committee, and it's about women's issues. Now, I'm not a woman, but I've heard that the menopause can be quite horrible for some, and it can take a toll not only on their body, but on their mental state as well. You've got different hormones getting mixed up and your feelings betraying you. So you would think that a woman would want to help other women when it comes to things like the menopause. And what the discussion here is a pilot scheme for a time off work, where women are suffering due to the menopause's symptoms. Have a watch, and in the comments, tell me if you think that she's actually right.
How to do it.
Okay, so what about a pilot on menopause leave? Why wouldn't you even consider a pilot on menopause leave?
This again is, I can't remember the details that we provided in terms of what we have written to the committee, and we're happy to rewrite again to the committee. Carrying out a pilot doesn't need the government to do this. Anyone can carry out a pilot. We spend so much time creating lots of new work for government to do. We spread our attention so thinly, and then we miss things. That's not how I think that we will tackle this. There's already lots of good work that people are doing on the menopause. We think that there have been recommendations which we did accept. We think that there's a lot of good work that's happening in DWP, and I'm very happy to support them in doing that. But making it a protected characteristic, I don't think we should do.
So you talk about DWP and the emphasis of getting women over 50 into work. So these menopause champions, is it? You're going to have the employment champions, menopause employment champions. Where are they?
I believe that the Minister for Employment is looking into appointing someone, and that will be announced in Parliament very shortly.
That's not a waste of time then, is it? So we're doing all these different things all across government, but a menopause champion is not a waste of time, but women having a pilot on menopause leave is.
That is something which would require far more resources than encouraging employers and in terms of changing their work culture and demonstrating where the guidance is and lessons learned. We don't need government to do. I think this is a philosophical perspective that we're arguing over. We can go over it from time, till time ends. You are speaking from a left-wing perspective on creating something. I am speaking from a right, centre-right perspective. I do not think. I'm sorry. I think that it influences the approach that you take. I do not think creating another pilot on more leave is what is going to help women who have the menopause.
If I could just let the Secretary of State know that I didn't personally write the report from the committee, and it's a politically mixed committee, so my politics have absolutely nothing to do with that.
But I don't think that the approach that you're taking is one that a centre-right government would take as. Pardon me?
The committee's left-wing.
The committee is not responsible for policy, Carolyn. I am, and I have said that I don't think this is the right way. The committee is responsible for scrutiny. I'm very, very welcoming to suggestions, many of which we've taken up. This is not one of them.
Now, I could understand that if it was a male in that position, because they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't understand why another woman couldn't go to work just because they were going through the menopause. It's something that they'll never experience in their life. And to me, it boggles the mind that when she ruled things out because someone on the left suggested it, and the way she speaks to her fellow colleagues, regardless of which side of the house they sit on, is quite disgusting. And as a man, if I had to look at similar issues, regardless of what political stance they stood on, left or right, if it was something that was going to help men, and it was a good idea, I'd back it. Wouldn't you? And you can also see this again here in the House of Commons, the way that she speaks to other people in this clip. Labour quite rightly outlines that a colossal mistake leaving the EU was for the Comprehensive and the Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or the CPTPP for short. We had a referendum to leave the EU, But here she goes just on her own, joining another trading bloc without giving the people a say, giving Parliament any scrutiny. And all it does is it provides us with 0.08% of growth. And yet she claims this.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman for his questions, and I know it must be really, really difficult to sit there while we have just agreed this fantastic trade deal and find a way to celebrate. Just looking at the Labour front bench, it looks like they've been sucking on lemons, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Like I said at the start, she isn't stupid evil. She knows exactly what she's talking about, and she doesn't care about anything else than her own ideological stance. I did like the way that Carol Vorderman certainly called her out for what she is.
Later, and also I was horrified when I was watching Kemi Badenoch, the Minister for Women and Equalities, a number of weeks ago, when you were questioning her, Carolyn. And I just couldn't, I could not, as a woman, a postmenopausal woman who was from a working class background, get over the patronising statements that she made. I thought they were insulting. They were insulting to all women. She basically said to Carolyn this was a left-wing issue when we were talking about menopause and a pilot in the workplace, and characteristically compared women going through terrible, terrible menopausal symptoms with those who would want to have certain things that are given by government to those with ginger hair, to short people. I mean, it was just, what am I listening to here? It's the 21st century. This was like going back 100 years to when women just had the vote. I could not believe it. You know, and women make up almost half of the workforce. And yet, these are the two women in government who are meant to be representing the female population. I was disgusted, to be perfectly honest, by both of them. Absolutely disgusted.
In last week's PMQs, there were two speeches that really stood out to me, and they showed what the Conservative Party leadership failures are in a spectacular manner. And to see them, you need to click the videos on screen now. Don't forget to hit the like button or the join button for memberships. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.